So proofreading, if you were working with a freelancer, you could expect to pay between probably $600 and $1,000 depending on the length of the book. Cover design, if you're working with a great cover designer who has industry expertise, you're looking at around $2,000 for the cover design. And that does usually include any stock images that they might have to buy to include. And then if you weren't using a program that did the layout and typesetting for you, so if you were using InDesign, which is what we use to lay out books, then you should think about getting a freelance typesetter, and that will cost around $1,500 to lay out your book. And then maybe another $300 if you want to convert that book into an EPUB format, so that it's sort of flow on and can go across all the various tablets. In terms of PR and marketing, budgets can of course be endless. It just depends what it is that you're trying to achieve and what audience you're trying to reach. And print costs also depend so much, and print costs will inevitably be the largest cost associated with the production of a book. Print costs absolutely depend on whether you're printing local or internationally and what quantities you're printing, because of course if you're printing, 300 copies, the unit cost is going to be higher than if you were printing 10,000 copies. My advice here would be that colour books, so I'm not talking about the book cover, just the internals. If they're colour in the internals, we aim to print these internationally, so I would recommend printing in China or printing print on demand, but black and white internals with a colour cover, absolutely print locally. Now, we've had a few questions on how do I actually get started, and this is in terms of the writing process. Again, I would absolutely recommend looking at your local state-based writing centre. So for example, Writing New South Wales, Writing Victoria, there's Queensland Writers Centre. For every single state there is a local writers centre, and they all provide different courses to help you through the writing journey, really intensive ones like the Year of the Novel, right through to shorter online courses that can help you in your journey. Again, I would recommend the Writing New South Wales course on self-publishing. It's an online one. I think it's great. And similarly, all of these writer centres have mentorship programs. So if you're looking for someone to coach you or help you through this process, that's a great way to start. That said, I do have a little bit of a cheat sheet for non-fiction. This is by no means, the solution to the whole process, but I think that this is a good way to get started. Here are some things for you to think about. Who is the key audience for your book, and what are the key messages for that audience? Write them down. Now, break that down further into 10 to 15 topics or questions. Just one sentence will suffice for each, so 10 to 15 sentences, breaking down those key messages. So these will then become your chapters. Under each of those 10 to 15 topics, jot down maybe 2 to 5 bullet points as to what the key points for each might be. Checking, of course, that the questions and the bullet points tie into your key messages and appeal to your audience. Sorry, this is the benefit of working from home. I have a small dog barking behind me. So what I would do is that, you've now got 10 to 15 sentences. Under each of those sentences, you have 2 to 5 bullet points as to, how you might break down further that topic or that question. Once you have those bullet points, expand on each of those bullet points, and voila, you have a rough draft for you to use as an outline for you then to rework and to think about. That's obviously not a foolproof plan, but I do find that it's a great way to get started and to be thinking about the content for your book.